What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video with the Hidden Puma, and today we are going to be talking about the Pacific campaign that they are releasing. I'm not going to play the video. You can probably go look it up by yourself, look with the link up here, and I'll put it down in the description down below to access this page. So as we go down here, it looks like we have an LVT and Marines. Okay, I see a little bit of, is that an airplane or a tower? That definitely looks like a tower, and then over here it looks like maybe hangars. Lots of airports in the Pacific. So I think they're only crossing a river or a pond or something. Anyway, so as we go down here, we're going to talk about, it's time to announce the main theme of this major upcoming update, and Enlisted will launch a long-awaited Pacific campaign. Yeah, it's long-awaited. New theater of combat operations, a new participant. The Japanese Army awaits you, as well as unique weapons, equipment, and game mechanics created for them, and many other significant improvements to the game that will make the battlefield truly memorable experience. Now, I'm curious about the game mechanics created for them. Is it specially made for the Japanese, or is it specially made for the campaign? What's it mean by that? Participate without restrictions, so this is not going to be like Stalingrad. This one is completely free. It's going to be like Normandy, Tunisia, Moscow, and Berlin. The Pacific campaign will be available and enlisted without any restriction progress. The campaign will be the same as the ones I just mentioned. That said, most loyal fans of the Battle of the Pacific will be able to stand out and receive helpful bonuses. The new campaign includes a special landing forces pack, which includes exclusive content for premium squads and bonuses that cannot be earned anywhere else or any other way. So if you want to know what those are, that's going to be 2 infantry squads, 2 assaulter squads to be precise, and then 2 amphibious tank squads, which I will do a test drive of in War Thunder, because I have both of them. It also looks like you get a nickname, and then looking down below here, where is it? Up, here we go. So you're going to get a profile picture, you're going to get camouflages, because here's the tanks, by the way, and you're going to get a decorator. And you also get these tanks, and you also get 2 squads, which you can see the videos here displaying the tanks and squads. The disadvantage to the Japanese tank is it has no machine gun, though it has a major advantage over the American one, and that is this pontoon in the front. Granted, the driver can't see anything, and nor can he use the whole mount machine gun here, because it does have a whole mount machine gun here. The pontoon here acts as spaced armor, so any and all heat rounds will not do anything to you. It's kind of funny when you have an MBT at, like, top tier, fire a heat shell at you in War Thunder and it does nothing. Okay, yeah, this is pretty much going to tell you nickname, standout supporter, and give you a noticeable sense of style in the battlefield. The bonus squads, each for Japan and USA assaulters, yeah. And then of course you get your tanks, equipment, soldiers, squad campaign, pretty much giving you the equipment. Take a look at the squads. So here's the Japanese tank. Beautiful. That's right, guys, get your first battleship. Here we have Japan, they have their assaulter, and then here we have the Marines. Apparently it is Giretsu, or I'm sorry, Giretsu, and I'm probably mispronouncing the R, because the Japanese don't pronounce the R the same way as English speakers. So forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that horribly. Giretsu. Okay, I think that's how it's said, is Giretsu. 2nd Marine Raider Battalion. So Giretsu, as I'm going to call them, is a special forces squad formed from experienced Army paratroopers Oh, so they're a paratrooping squad. Or paratrooper. I didn't know Japan had paratroopers. It was created to deal with the Allied attacks on Japanese islands and successfully fought in various operations. Okay. The Raider Battalion was formed from experienced soldiers who were supplied with the best equipment of the Marines. They took part of the Guadalcanal campaign and won major defensive victories at the Battle of Edison Ridge. Okay, so here we have I believe these are the guns that they're going to be armed with. You have the Type 1 SMG, and then you have the Thompson M1928 United States Marine Corps. Down here it goes into the description of the Kachi and the LVT A1 or 1A amphibious tank. They're both amphibious, so that means that they will float. That's right. And I do know that you get, the video actually shows a whole lot more stuff, and I should have looked at it, I guess, right before recording. Oh well. The majestic giant Leviathan will easily conquer both land and water, and you will try to stop it. There's a 47mm cannon waiting. The tank is taking into account the pontoons. The tank is enormous and will just about fit in your hangar. I'm reading this so horribly because I didn't read this part. The crew count similarly immense at 7. There's 7 crew? No, there's not. There's like 3 at most there, and then you have the 2 guys in there. It's like a regular tank. Why would there be 7 tank crew in there? You can't fit 7 crew in that thing. It's mostly engine. I'll show you what I mean on War Thunder here in a minute. All this provides a stability for the Kachi. You can even leave it and get fully fledged squad from tank assaulters. The Americans' approach to the amphibious vehicle is no less original. The high-mounted turret allows the tank to fire without exposing the vulnerable hull to the enemy. A rapid-fire 37mm cannon helps to keep the threat at bay, although its caliber is smaller than the Kachi. The power-weight ratio of the vehicle is almost twice as high, which means it's very quick and mobile. Though I believe in water they're about the same. In fact, I want to say the Japanese one's probably a little bit faster than the American one. Pre-order today. It is only $30. And here's an example of that, because I decided to go click over here. So it is only $30 if you want to buy it, in my opinion. Because I think this tells you everything that's in it. So, in my opinion, it is well worth it. $30. It's more worth it than the other stuff. Here's where you can click on the pre-order link. Oh yeah, and then here it tells you that the mask is going to be a decorator for the tanks. Amphibious Y7, Jaws for the tank, and of course you have the Sakura standout. Patriotic decorator will be available. Where? Will be available immediately after purchase before the release of the Pacific campaign. Is it talking about that one? New nations. Here we have Japan, and here we have the United States. Really, it's only new. Oh yeah, it does say nation. A new confrontation. The Pacific Front is a site of fierce battles between the United States of America and Japan. That means Enlisted will feature new nations with its own unique squads, weapons, and vehicles. Now that's not 100% true. There was also, on the United States' side, fighting with them, There was also, depending on where you look, if you go to the Philippines, you had the Philippines fighting with the United States. But more accurately, I don't think they're gonna, I think that was technically part of the United States at the time. So you would have Australia, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom, mostly fought by New Zealand and Australia, and the United States. And the British, well, we're not going to talk about the British. They didn't do so well against the Japanese. For the start, we have prepared 26 levels for each side, and for the first front, the U.S. Army will also be getting a big set of weapons. Here are some of the examples. I don't know if that's an American gun or not. Anyway, here's a Japanese gun. This is a Japanese famous mass-produced submachine gun with proven reliability, layout, and withstood ruthless tropical climate, which is very important. Okay, so I think this side is the United States guns, and I've never heard of a Owen Mark 1 42. No, I guess, okay, this is why I haven't heard of it, because it's an Australian gun. Remember how I mentioned the Australians were there? An Australian submachine gun with a very high rate of fire. The recoil is thankfully easy to control due to the comfortable grip, because it has that nice little grip there. Then we go over here to the Type 11, the first light machine gun in the Imperial Japanese Army, distinguished by the original hopper-fed system, which reduces the weight of the ammunition and simplifies the reload. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. A machine gun with a very useful, this is going to the M1914 Johnson machine gun. A machine gun with a very useful ability to switch out, or to switch not only between firing modes, which means semi-automatic to fully automatic, I'm imagining, but between two different fire rates. Oh, that's interesting. But even in the normal firing mode, the M1941 is noticeably faster than the predecessors. That's not the gun I think it is. No, that's not the Stinger. Potentially we could see something called a Stinger, which fired faster than the German guns, apparently. So, now, Japan gets the A6M2 Model 11, that is the Japanese Zero, and the United States gets the M13 MG Marine Corps. At least I believe that's what but you know what, it's probably General Motors car. You know, so MGMC, there we go. So machine gun, I don't know. I don't know what that stands for, I should look it up. Legendary Ryzen, even in the enlisted modification, it features maneuverability surpassing almost any opponent in the skies. This probably goes for all campaigns. Alongside such competent flying characteristics, the armament of the ammunition is also decent. Yes, it is. I believe all the airplanes on the bottom of the ocean would agree with that. Self-propelled anti-aircraft. This would be the first one that we are getting in game, which is very nice. Self-propelled anti-aircraft guns are also arriving and enlisted, not only to a powerful means of anti-air defense, or I should say more accurately, this is the first one we're getting in a campaign, because we have them in other places. Air defense, but also a nightmare for enemy infantry. Specifically on the platform, specifically this platform, are two 50 caliber Browning machine guns. An impressive density of fire, and the gunner is not so easily knocked out behind the block of armor. That's right, because you have a place to shoot him here, and then you have to shoot him in the back, and then it's not all that easy because you have a big motor behind him. Oh, I love it. Is that a medic? Well, no, he's Swedish. My bad. Or not Swedish. Switzerland flag. Yeah. Of course, I already mentioned why it has to be that way, and that has to do with it is technically a war crime to make an actual medical symbol in a video game. Yeah. The Pacific Ocean is steeped not only in the scent of salty seawater, but also in the spirit of heroism. So it is worth this campaign in Enlisted that the Berserk attack mechanic will appear. Oh, Berserk attack. Okay, so this is talking about the mechanic that I was wondering about earlier. During which your soldier will gather all their strength and unleash it in a rush with a cold weapon in their hands. Okay, so probably a sword, or a knife, or a rifle. Oh, that's a Japanese soldier. I was like, what is that? I don't know what that is in the United States arsenal. Clutch your rifle and bayonet tighter. Draw your trusty sword, or arm yourself with an axe. Then press the attack button while running to noticeably speed up and unleash a fury on your enemy. Yes, they were very scary from what I hear. Let's see. So this is a U.S. tank. We can tell by the quote tank. I believe that's another LVT. I don't know if that's just map prop, like the blown up tanks, or if this is going to be actually usable. If this is actually usable, I'm going to imagine that this is going to be something you can get in the game regularly and drive around with. It should have a machine gun on the other side of it, if you can drive around in that, and it is amphibious. Japanese flare. Many of you already recognize the Japanese large mine from its appearance. Okay, that's what it is. Personally, I don't know too much about the history of the Pacific or anything that the Japanese had. The appearance of its application is simple. Get close to the tank and hit it. But even in this case, there is a trick. Learn how to use the mine at a distance from the armor to have a chance to survive after the explosion, and to fight even longer for the Emperor. Look at that, you even get to see his sword. Got a rifle. You know, indirectly, this just confirms that we're getting medics in this campaign. Phosphorus grenades. Ooh, look at the nice new graphics that they added. By the way, they were adding new graphics in case you haven't seen the announcement. They're also adding replays, which is going to be major. Throw one into the enemy cover, and if after the explosion the enemy is not swallowed by fire, the dense toxic smoke will... Sorry. Body's trying to burp. And I just ate lunch right before, so sorry. Dense smoke will definitely blow them out of cover. Otherwise, they run the risk of dying from fumes. World War I, World War I, World War I. Something tells me we're getting World War I. Experienced strategists can also use the cloud of smoke to improvise camouflage on the battlefield. Just don't take any deep breaths. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. Ocean and islands. Okay, here we go. I think this is where it was telling me the locations. The Pacific launch with several major combat locations that feature a multitude of missions and variety of game modes, from the large-scale Battle of Guadalcanal, so confirmed we are getting Guadalcanal, where the United States and Japanese armies clashed in one of the key battles of the war in the skies and the sea. Well, and there it says at sea and on land, to a bloody battle for Guvutu Island, which was home to one of the many established Japanese military bases. I don't know where that is. I'm going to go look it up on Google Maps after this video. Well, the countdown to the Pacific Front is on. We'll have time to tell you more about the other new mechanics, new Pacific campaign levels, and news of enlisted campaigns. Bring on the Pacific Front. Okay, so looking through the pictures, let's go ahead and look here. I see radio tower. Looks like this is probably Guadalcanal because I think that's an airfield. Probably Henderson Field. They're going to... Nice tower there. Lookout, or maybe it's an air tower. A church. Very nice. Very tropical. Very, very tropical. Let's see, wooden houses. So this is like a little town. I don't know. A hay hut. Okay, somebody bring the flamethrower. We're gonna do this Vietnam style. Looks like a bridge here for footbridge. Wooden rope footbridge here. Probably going all over. This is probably, I don't know. I honestly don't know. And did we just go to the top? I don't know. Here, up. It's loading. Okay, so as we scroll down here, let's see. Any little secrets in their equipment? Not really. Japanese 0. Half track. Definitely a medic. When he has a katana, I believe. And even if it's not a katana, it'll do the trick. And I think this one's telling us the most. Because I think we're going to be able to play this. This would also be the first APC that we could actually spawn in as a squad. Unless this is like a map vehicle. Kind of like the Jeeps. Then it would just be like the Opel Blitz that we can drive around in. Well, would often result in a suicide mine, though could be survived. Smoke, or more accurately gas. And I think that sums that up. So let's get into a test drive for the new vehicles they're adding. Or I should say the pre-order vehicles. Here we have the American vehicle. In War Thunder, it's really easy to get. Just up here at the top. Oh, actually, you start out with it now. It's really mobile. Let's go ahead and get into a test drive. It's very mobile. As much as they say, yeah, your gun's way up there so you can easily do whatever. Yeah, you're very tall. And they're probably going to have an even easier time hitting your pole. Firepower is meh. As you can tell by that shot. Speed on land is alright. Probably going to be more of the muddy terrain, which is more or less what I'm driving through. In the water, this thing is very slow. Actually, it's deep way over there, but I'm not driving over there. Hello, what do we got here? Yep, like I said, has a machine gun. It has a stabilizer. I think the Japanese one does too. Yeah, it's too shallow. Darn, I was hoping I could show off the mobility in the water. So not too terrible. Pretty good tank all around. Return to hangar. Let's go to the Japanese one. Japan. And then we're going to... So look at the size of this thing for starters. Oh dear. Let's go to test drive. Maybe I should have removed my decals beforehand. Oh well. We'll see if copyright hits me. Actually, I don't even have to display it. Ha! As you can see, no view for the driver. It has a powerful gun, no machine gun. On land, it's kind of slow. Whatever, I don't think he's going to get angry because I have his decal on my tank. Though, I should have honestly done something about that. Like I said, it's not deep enough to actually display how good this is in water. It has a stabilizer for low speed. That helps in the water. And yeah. So these are the vehicles you have to look forward to. And like I said, so I'm going to go show you the innards of them, because I said I would do that. It would appear that you're not going to get your back machine guns on here. Let's bring this out here. X-ray. Oh, I guess it does have 2 extra crew. So you have 3 in the turret, 2 in the front. So it's 5, 6, 7. I stand corrected. I didn't know that there was 2 extras. I mean, this thing is massive. Oh yeah, and in case you were wondering what it looks like without the pontoon, I will display that just a second. Customization, modifications. Here we go. Look at this ugly thing. Kind of funny looking. Back to the United States. Here we have the LVT. Armor-wise, not all that great. The Japanese one will certainly have a whole lot more armor. This one actually has 1 less crew member, technically. I don't think they're going to put the infantry in the back, though. It's got an aviation engine, which is great for this thing. You got the driver in the front, ammunition's pretty small. Armor, I already mentioned it. And yeah. Oh yeah, that actually reminds me. And then I asked some people what their thoughts and opinions were about this. Their thoughts and opinions about the new Pacific campaign coming to Enlisted is they have my monies. Love it. And they had 2 people that were saying that it's not like Stalingrad, and they like how it's free. You know, for all the stuff, as I mentioned over here. And yep, 100% think this is a great deal, especially considering that Stalingrad only gave you 2 tanks. If we go to Tunisia, Tunisia only gave you 2 motorcycles for $40. Yeah, so it's definitely improved over time. And yeah, I guess that'll close that off, guys. Like, subscribe, join my Discord, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.